Hi everyone, you're welcome to my YouTube channel, and I am so glad to be here today and to talk to you about something that I think is very, very important. And it is about 5 mindsets that you must have before you go into marriage. 5 mindsets that you must have before you go into marriage. It's important that you understand that marriage is about mindsets. Two people get married and they fundamentally take their mindsets into the marriage. And mindsets are predetermined way of thinking, and that could be influenced by culture, that could be influenced by knowledge, exposure, experience, upbringing, environment. All of this help to shape the way a person thinks, the way a person sees life, the way a person would even see marriage. And it's important to understand that these are the things that actually help to define how two people operate in a marriage and to also determine if that marriage is going to be successful. And so it's important to really understand one thing. Marriage is a covenant. Fundamentally, marriage is a covenant. That's how God has designed it to be. That's how God has created human beings to operate marriage. And when I mean a covenant, it means that two people become one. It means that two people who are two different individuals, of course, but then when they go into marriage, they see themselves as one, okay? And it's a covenant is a life thing. A covenant is something that requires that I take up your strength and your weaknesses as well. You take up my strength and my weaknesses. And the beautiful thing about it is that if I have strength in the area where you have a weakness, and you have a weakness in the area where I have strength, what it means is that at the end of the day, we will cover up our weaknesses and we will become strong on all sides. That's the beautiful thing about marriage. Marriage helps to amplify everything, whether it's your weakness, whether it's your strength. Marriage has the capacity to amplify it. So I just needed to give this background before we go into some very important mindsets that I think you need to identify. You need to make up your mind about it. I read somewhere in a book that says that it takes one day to be able to form a mindset. And so with this video, you can have, very solid mindsets that would help you in terms of the way you see marriage, you see relationships, that involves a husband and a wife. And then that can also help you to see how you can operate your marriage effectively. The first thing you must understand is that marriage is a priority thing. Marriage is a priority thing. You have to prioritize your partner. When you get married, nobody else in this world is more important than your partner. You must understand this. When you get married, no one else in this world is more important than your partner. Not your mother, not your father, not even your children. A lot of men, and even if a lot of women, they place their children above their partners in terms of even in their heart and in terms of all of the things that they do in life. They will always choose their children over their partner. But that is not how it is supposed to be. Marriage is a relationship that is a priority thing, and priority means that you place your partner above every other person. No one is more important than your partner. Not even your best friend. Okay, so your partner takes number one priority. No other human being in this world is expected to be more important than your husband or more important than your wife. A lot of people unconsciously place their partners below their relative, their parents, their children, and it reflects in the way they treat that man. It reflects in the choices that they make. It reflects in how they treat him. It reflects in a lot of things. And the truth is, many people do not know that they don't place that much importance and that much value on their partner. And it just cuts across everything that they do in that relationship, or how they treat the man or how they treat their wife, throughout the entire relationship. And it makes the other person feel less loved, feel less important in the decision-making process and all of that. So it's important to understand something, that marriage is a priority thing. And your spouse is the most important person. And that person should take priority in your life. It would define your decisions. It would define everything. So that's number one. Number two, marriage will not make you happy. Okay? When I say this, a lot of people will be like, what are you saying? It is your responsibility to be happy. Placing that burden on another human being is placing a lot of load or yoke on someone else. You are supposed to define your own happiness. Yes, someone else's actions can contribute to your happiness, but your happiness is primarily your priority. Your happiness is primarily your responsibility, not your priority. But of course, priority works in this case. But what I'm saying is, your happiness is primarily your responsibility. Someone else, like your spouse, your children, they can add or contribute to your happiness, because your happiness is something that you have to create by the way you think, the way you see life, and all of that. So marriage will not make you happy. It can contribute to your happiness because of all of the beautiful things that will come out of it, but it is your primary responsibility to be happy. Don't place that burden on someone else, because that's too much of a yoke to place on another human being. It is your responsibility to be happy. Number three, marriage will not cure your loneliness. Okay, so marriage will not cure your loneliness. A lot of people decide to go into marriage because they're lonely. Oh, I'm lonely, and they look for a partner and they get married. And then they get into marriage and find out that marriage doesn't actually cure or solve the problem of loneliness. What solves the problem of loneliness is connection, is intimacy. And that takes intentionality, that takes commitment, that takes daily contribution, to be able to get to that place where you don't feel lonely, you feel safe, you feel like you have someone in your life who you can or you can share it with in a meaningful way. And so it's important to understand that, because a lot of people go into marriage and they still feel lonely. So marriage doesn't cure loneliness. Intimacy does, connection does, communication does, and all of this takes intentionality. It's important to understand something, for also a lot of single people who, may be watching this. Being alone is different from loneliness. Okay? Being alone is different from loneliness. Aloneness is all one. You are alone. You are one person. And that's why, even the Bible says it is not good for the man to be alone. It's not that the man was lonely. The man wasn't lonely. Okay, it's just that he was all one. He was one, and God needed to create or make the woman out of him. So but then loneliness is a state, is a condition that is not permanent. Okay, and it can change. So it's a state of the mind. It's a state of the mind. So that's why it's important to understand that even when you get married, if you were lonely when you were single, it doesn't mean that when you get married, you automatically would not become, lonely anymore because you got married to someone. No, it takes connection, it takes intimacy to be able to drive away loneliness. Okay, so that's number 3. The fourth thing is marriage is partnership. Marriage is partnership. The two shall become one. Marriage is partnership. Marriage is teamwork. Okay, marriage is teamwork. You must see your partner as a team. You must see your partner as that person who you are doing life with together. They are not against you. They will never be against you. Even when you have conflicts, even when you have disagreements, understand that you are on the same team. And there is a vision, there is a purpose, there is a destiny that the both of you working together have to fulfill. And so never see yourselves as two different people. Always see yourself as partners. And there's something about partnership. Partnership means that we are bringing our all to the table to be able to achieve the dream, the purpose, or the objective that we've set, before us. A lot of people go into marriage and in their mind, they are not thinking partnership. In their mind, they are not thinking like teammates. Okay, so my money is my money, your money is your money. So I do whatever I want to do with my money, and that's it. And that's why a lot of men, unfortunately, carry a lot of financial burden because their partners or the women, maybe because of how culture has conditioned a lot of women, even men, to feel that they are the primary providers and the woman does not have to do anything, does not have to contribute financially, and then they carry that burden. And then the woman on her own path, on her own path thinks, it's my money, his money is our money, but my money is my money. I do whatever I want to do with it. And because the man carries a lot of financial burden, especially young men who are just growing financially, it takes a longer period of time for the man to become financially independent because he's doing it all alone. The partner who is supposed to work with him and also contribute financially or bring something to the table to help amplify their vision, to help amplify their goals, to help them achieve their objectives, is not bringing anything to the table. And so because of that, the men suffer for a long time. So studies have shown that when two people financially work as partners and bring their all to the table, they make financial progress faster as compared to when it's the man that is doing all the provisions, spending all the money, and the woman is doing whatever she wants to do with her own money without bringing it to the family. So it's important to understand that partnership is key. You have to have the same vision, because a division comes from division, double vision. You must have the same vision, one similar vision. You must have the same mission. You must think about your financial life, your spiritual life, your career lives as a team, as partners, because when you see yourselves as partners, it's easier for you to make progress together. Each of you will, cushion each other's, weaknesses and help each other grow quickly. So it's important to understand that marriage is partnership, marriage is teamwork. Number 5, and that will be the last one for this video. Marriage is commitment. Marriage is commitment. You have to wake up every day committed to your partner. You have to wake up every day committed to your partner. Even if it means waking up in the morning and say, today I commit to this marriage. I'm going to treat my partner right. I'm going to do my best to make them grow, to make them feel happy. Whatever it is that I need to do to actually improve their lives, I'm going to do that. And it's important, really, because there are days, or there will be days when you don't even feel like you love them. And that's why you must understand that marriage is beyond just how you feel. Marriage is a commitment thing. It is beyond how you feel, so you have to think commitment. You have to think that even when I don't feel like I love them, even when I don't feel like I want to do something good, for them, I still do it in spite of how I feel, because I have made up my mind. I have made a vow to to be this person's lover, and to love them like God would love them, to love them like, a good husband or a good wife would love them. And so it's beyond the emotions. You may not feel like it every day. You may wake up and you don't like them. You may wake up one day and you feel like just breaking their head. It's okay. Those times and those days will come. But then you must understand something, that it is commitment that helps you drive through that phase or that season in your relationship where you don't feel any kind of love or have any emotional feeling towards them. So marriage is commitment. Marriage is commitment. So it's important to understand these 5 things. Marriage is a covenant. Marriage is a priority thing. Marriage will not cure your loneliness. You must understand that. Marriage is a partnership thing, and marriage is commitment. Really very critical. And I hope that this helps you for those of us that are yet to go into marriage, and even for those who are already married. You can make corrections going forward. And for those of us who are not yet married, you can actually build this mindset, because it will help you build a better relationship. All right, guys. See you next time. Take care. Bye.